The door clicked shut behind them, and in that hollow echo, I knew I was buried alive. My own son, the boy I'd bled for, starved for, sacrificed everything for, had just locked me away in this terror prison of beige walls and wilted plastic flowers. Just for a few days, Mama, he'd said with that rehearsed smile, hugging me like it meant something. But as their footsteps faded down the hall, the truth hit me like a gut punch. I wasn't resting. I was erased. Too old, too slow, too much of a burden, that's what he'd called me. And while he slithered into my home like a thief in broad daylight, thinking I'd wither quietly into oblivion, I felt a fire ignite in my chest, hot and unyielding. No, I wasn't done. I wasn't broken. I know how he'd regret the day he underestimated the woman who gave him life. This is how I clawed my way back, and made him feel my shadow every time he dared step outside. I poured my soul into raising Jason. After his father died young, leaving me with nothing but grief and bills, I scrubbed strangers' floors until my knuckles cracked and bled. I skipped meals so he could eat, pawned my wedding ring, the last whisper of my husband's touch, for his graduation suit. I never asked for gratitude, I just believed love was a circle, that it would come back when I needed it most. But love, it twisted into something sharp and cruel. That Tuesday morning, I fainted in the kitchen, low blood sugar, nothing more. I'd been on my feet too long, stomach empty from stretching the groceries. Jason rushed over that evening with Danielle, his wife, their faces masks of fake concern. Mama, we just want what's best, he murmured, while she nodded like a puppet on strings. They brought soup, probed about old papers, cooed about how hard it must be at my age. My heart ached with a mother's trust, blind to the knives they sharpened behind my back. They'd already consulted a lawyer, whispered lies to neighbors that I was sleeping, changed my locks while I slept in my own bed. A week later, they lured me out for lunch. Just us three, Jason grinned. Time to spoil you. I didn't pack a thing, no bag, no charger, not even my good shoes. We pulled up to a building that reeked of disinfectant and forgotten dreams. Rest up, he said, hugging me tight enough to bruise my ribs. Danielle's kiss was ice on my cheek. Then they vanished, leaving me in a room stripped of everything that made me me, no photos, no books, just a cold bed and a dresser that screamed finality. I begged the nurse for a phone. Visiting hours, she snapped. When she finally showed me the form, my name forged, boxes ticked for medical consent, long-term placement, my world shattered. He'd committed me. Betrayed me. My hands trembled as I sat on that alien bed, tears burning paths down my face, rage coiling in my gut like a serpent ready to strike. How could the child I carried for 9 months, nursed through fevers, defended from the world's cruelties, do this? I shook with fury, with heartbreak, but I swallowed the scream, knowing it would only paint me as the madwoman they claimed. The next morning, I confronted the administrator, voice steady despite the storm inside. Mistake, I insisted. I'm not sinner. Not dying. She eyed me like a relic begging for revival. Your son said confusion spells. Unsafe alone. My blood boiled, unsafe. I'd survived cancer, widowhood, poverty. But screaming wouldn't free me. So I waited, 3 agonizing days in that cage, surrounded by souls lost to time, drooling, yelling, staring into voids. Is this my end? I whispered to the walls, heart splintering. After everything I gave. No. Hell no. That night, I sweet-talked the nurse for a notebook and pen, for journaling, I lied with a smile. In its pages, I poured not poems, but poison, dates, accounts, deeds, contacts. My lawyer, Monica Reeves, dormant but loyal. Facts became my arsenal. They froze my bank. I'd noticed. Erased my name from bills. I'd fight. I wasn't frail, I was furious, forged in fire. I'd raised a man, beaten death twice. This. This was just another battle. Monica called back fast, voice laced with shock. Mrs. Mayfield. Are you safe? As safe as a lioness in a trap, I snarled. I spilled it all, the forgeries, the lies, the theft. She arrived Friday, storming in like a warrior, briefcase in hand. You're out in a week, she declared, eyes blazing. Or we sue them all. For the first time in weeks, I breathed, deep, defiant. We shredded their web, revoked the fake power of attorney, proved my competence with the doctor's own words, sued for elder abuse, froze their accounts. My heart raced with vindication, a sweet venom pulsing through me. I walked out that Wednesday, bag from Monica in hand, air tasting like freedom's honey. No goodbyes, just forward. We holed up in a suite, plotting. Jason didn't know I was free, but he'd learn. We forced a house sale, my house, still in my name. Picturing them on my couch, toasting their theft, fueled my resolve. Served papers at dawn, Danielle's scream, Jason's pallor, music to my scarred soul. That evening, my phone rang. Jason, voice small, Mom. This real? Silence from me, then, you mean the house you stole? His breath hitched. I never signed anything. You forged, lied, locked me away. Mom, please. You buried me alive, Jason. Now choke on the dirt. I hung up, heart pounding with triumph, not pain. Monica and I toasted with cider, simple, but mine. Sold to a young couple, cash, quick. They adored it so. Filled with love again, the wife said. I nodded, tears pricking, my home deserved that. But the real twist. With the proceeds, I bought next door. Cozy, roses out front, porch facing their kitchen. Paid full, no loans. Satisfaction trembled in my veins, not weakness, but wicked joy. Move-in day, I sat outside, tea in hand, Sunday hat on. Jason emerged, froze, retreated. I smiled, savage and serene. Danielle drew curtains, packed away. I planted red roses like flames along the fence, petty. No, poetic justice. Waved to neighbors, baked for the new owners. Watched Jason wilt, lights on at 2 a.m., marriage crumbling. Danielle's car vanished for days, arguments echoed. Tyler, my grandson, knocked one day, Grandma, can I sit? We shared tea, he confessed, they said dementia. But you're sharp. Why next door? He asked. Reminder, I said, voice thick with emotion. He needs to see what he lost. Tyler snorted, stayed for dinner, laughter mended cracks in my heart. Jason confronted me, why humiliate me? You did that, I shot back, tears unshed. Left me with strangers, called it love. He had no words. I closed the door, peace flooding me like warm rain. Closure isn't apologies, it's indifference to their chaos. My roses bloomed brighter, I painted again, colors vivid as my reclaimed life. There, for sale, a sign went up, Danielle's rage visible from my porch. She fled, Jason sat alone, hollow. Tyler moved in, eyes brightening. You're no burden, he whispered. I knew, now. Weeks later, Jason confessed, I messed up, Mama. You buried me, I said, come a stone. But I rose. He left town, silent. I spoke at seminars, empowering others, they'll call you old, fight back. My will. Tyler's future, grants for the discarded. No pennies for Jason. They called me a burden. But I became their unbreakable echo. And in my garden, with Tyler by my side, peace bloomed eternal, sweeter than any revenge.